Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, interests from both sides of the political divide have publicly endorsed the prospect of legalized gambling for Bahamians. Yesterday, a group calling itself the Vote Yes campaign announced the launch of a ground campaign to convince the electorate that a yes vote would benefit the Bahamas. Andrew Knowles explains the arguments of the group, which includes mixed political persuasions.
Former Free National Movement MP and Cabinet Minister Teresa Moxie Ingram has long been a gambling proponent. And now she's a leading voice in the Vote Yes Bahamas campaign and says she's ready for whatever criticisms may come her way.
I'm being involved here not as a member of the Free National Movement. I'm a private citizen, having done my national service, free to speak for any cause that I choose. I expect I'll get some concerns expressed, but I've got broad shoulders, developed them over a long period. So I don't worry about that. I believe in what I'm doing. I think Bahamians ought to be protected in this industry in as many ways as possible. I'm prepared to face down any politician or anybody who thinks otherwise.
Vote Yes Bahamas believes owners and operators within the numbers industry should be allowed to legally engage in their enterprises the same way foreigners can, within a legal and regularized environment. The group's consultants estimate hundreds of millions of dollars annually in the underground industry.
Our government should also be in a position where it can regulate this industry, monitor this industry, place our nation in a position where our revenue bottom line is enhanced and where the community as a whole can benefit. We're talking here about Bahamians, about securing an industry that Bahamians have developed, securing an industry that Bahamians participate in, and our coalition wants to work vigorously to educate citizens, voters, about the issues at hand.
And come January 3rd, Vote Yes Bahamas will kick its campaign machinery into high gear. Ron Roll is on the ground leading more than 1,000 volunteers.
The message of my ground troops is to get to the doors and get the voter out, but in that same breath, inform and educate the voter on why they should be voting yes.
The events will include roundtable discussions with a view to educating Bahamians as to what the referendum is about and what the positions are with respect to this committee. And there will be other social activities to get people in that festive mood to encourage them to come out and exchange their views.
Now, organizers have not determined yet how much money running such a massive campaign will cost. And when it comes to major opponents like the church, Vote Yes Bahamas says there is no fight. Nevertheless, educating the public about the pros of voting yes is paramount. Additionally, Vote Yes Bahamas says the campaign will extend to the Family Islands. Andrew Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, despite calls from the Bahamas Christian Council to vote no on referendum day, a group of pastors say the country stands to gain from a legalized gaming industry. Today, they met with the country's leader for that discussion. Following those talks, Reverend Philip McPhee of Mount Calvary Baptist Church says although the Christian community appears to be split on the issue, he has the backing of at least 24 pastors from 8 denominations. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson has more.
This pastor has never bought a number, have never been interested in buying numbers.
Pastors that support the legalization of gambling met with Prime Minister Perry Christie today, stating that although they don't participate in the gambling practice, they are in support of legalizing the industry and a national lotto for the greater good of the Bahamian economy.
We're saying that there are too many Bahamians who are working, who are part of an industry involved for over 100 years that need to be regulated, not to be treated as stepchildren or step families or step citizens, that they ought to be given the right to do what is right for their families.
Web shops reportedly employ more than 3,000 Bahamians, and Reverend Philip McPhee says that the Prime Minister responded positively to their concerns and revealed that he has finally decided on how many questions will be put to the Bahamian people.
There will be 2 questions. Both of them will be related in many ways to the web shop gaming situation. There were many concerns about how many questions.
Then there are others in the Christian community who are against the legalization of gambling, citing severe social ills that can be born out of the practice, such as increased poverty. Reverend Simeon Hall says people have a right to choose. He also refuted claims that pastors who support the move are being paid off.
Monies collected from these things will be used for, say, urban renewal, to help the aged, and wherever there are community projects led by the church, these could be enhanced financially. Please know that we are not in this for any money.
The Prime Minister is expected to meet with other church leaders in the coming days before the questions for the referendum are made public. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
The police commissioner is congratulating the officers who have had success overnight in arresting the suspects believed to be linked to the so-called bump and rob ring. It involved a group traveling in an SUV and targeting female drivers of mainly Honda model cars. Police believe that the group would bump a targeted car, and when the driver got out of the vehicle, they'd rob the woman of the car and their possessions.
We have arrested to date 3 young men. And we have recovered 3 vehicles and any number of other personal items that have been taken in robberies. I'm very, very pleased with the work that is being done by the Central Detective Unit under the leadership of Superintendent Paul Roll. And I believe when you hear from us again, we'll be telling you of the dates that we will be bringing charges.
In other news tonight, if you're one of those electricity consumers whose bill has gone through the roof, you'd be happy to know that relief could be in sight soon with a recent compilation of an energy report by Genting Energy. The energy-based company in Malaysia is a subsidiary of the Genting Group of companies, which is currently constructing its casino in Bimini, set for opening next March. The company conducted the study for the government without cost over the past 3 months, and Prime Minister Christie says it could be a significant new beginning in helping his administration make good on its promise of reducing electricity costs.
We are not disappointed. In fact, we are significantly encouraged by the presentation and the results. I have today indicated that before we go further in any public way with the recommendations set out herein, that we should move immediately to appoint a task force, but a grouping of Bahamian experts who will, in addition to what Genting has proposed, examine all of the proposals that we have received in this process, in which we said we were working on the basis of a promise we made to reduce and find means of reducing the cost to the consumer of electricity.
Now, the company also looked at water production, solid waste and sewage management, and how the government can reduce the cost of these essential services. Genting Energy Chief Financial Officer Chu Weng Hong is leading the group.
We look at the situation in power supply, in water supply, in waste disposal and sewage objectively, and our recommendations are contained in the report. Okay, our basic conclusion is that I think some reforms will be needed, because it is, as in many countries, they many countries have carried out reforms in the 70s and 80s with regard to power supply, with regard to sewage disposal and potable water. And we are recommending that the Bahamas should also go through a period of reforms in this industry.
Prime Minister Perry Christie said yesterday that the government is still looking to mediate between City Market's owners and old employees of the company because they still haven't gotten their severance payments. Here's what he had to say on that.
I do understand the anxiety of the workers concerned. I will make a major effort again to see if I could bring some relief to them or some help to them. But it is a situation that their lawyers will have to do whatever they have to do.
Well, the Prime Minister says he's instructed the Minister of Labor, Shane Gibson, to revisit the matter. Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the wife of the Prime Minister helps ring in the season. We'll tell you how coming up.